It was late at night when the phone rang. She suddenly woke up, picked up the receiver, and heard a voice. It was a voice from the past. A woman was speaking very fast, something in English. It was hard to understand. But the first phrase, the first word she spoke, it was terrifying. She said, "Hello, Annette." Only her grandfather used to call her that, the one with whom she used to spend all her free time in childhood. He would tell her tales about aliens, other planets. He was kind of unreal. He was cosmic. And once around the year 2015, he suddenly disappeared. It was a tragedy because he was everything to her. And only he called her Annette. He always used to say that it's from the word An, meaning the first. She understood that something happened. And now this woman in English is explaining that an old man ended up in a hospital and that she must come immediately. And of course, she asked where must I come? She was ready to start running to him. But the answer was Island Socotra. She never heard of it. Socotra, where is it? She was explained that it's not far from Yemen. You must right now, immediately, get to the airport and to us, as soon as possible. He's very bad. He might not see the morning. In the morning, she boarded a plane. She was very upset. Didn't know where, how, what will she hear? What if she's late? She would remember different stories, how he would give her puzzles and how they would search for a treasure. What if she's late? When she arrived at the hospital, she was told that he didn't make it and gave her a small box, all what's left from him. A small box, a container. The small box contains all his life, all his work. He dreamt so much to unsolve global mysteries which puzzle all mankind. Who are we? Where is our origin on planet Earth? And most importantly, what is awaiting us in the future? Could it be that this small box hides everything what was his reason for life? A monk. He never believed in any religions. Why would this thing be here? A pocket watch. I remember them. We used to play once. He would create puzzles. We would search for a hidden treasure. He used to say that a secret is hidden in this watch. I remember, if you press the button and hold it, then the watch turns into a compass. It's strange because it never pointed to the north. Grandpa said that one day this watch would show me the way. Perhaps it is now. Money. He always understood that any journey requires money. I think it will be useful to me soon. And a letter. It's his last words. Dear Annette, you cannot imagine how sorry I am that I couldn't say goodbye. You know that I spent all my life in search for the snake's eye. Fortunately, I was successful in finding it. If you are reading this letter, then you received a box from me. It contains everything to answer your questions. The monk will speak the meaning of my research. The watch will show direction. And the marks on the box will help you to pass the Valley of Dread Dragons. By the journey's end, you will see a small hut. It's been my home for the last 5 years. There is a book in the cellar. I've been collecting the crumbs of information from all around the world. I studied old legends about gods of Mesopotamia, Greece, Rome, India, Russia, Maya, China. I was able to decipher unknown to the science clay tablets from Egypt and Sumer. to analyze ancient Vedic culture, and even to solve the mysteries of Ivan Bogoslov's revelations and the Deep Book. It allowed me to write a book, a fairy tale about aliens who invaded our planet 7,500 years ago. The introduction and the first chapter is written in Russian language and continues the story of Anunnaki, which I told you in your childhood. The others are encrypted. At the end of each chapter, you will find a riddle, the key to which will help you to read the other chapters. Come to my hut no later than by the end of this week, otherwise the manuscript could end up in strangers' hands. Be careful. The people behind the realization of reptiloids' plans are too powerful to allow the secrets to come to light. The world will soon kneel before the Prince of Darkness. It must not be allowed. Farewell. How can I find this valley? I don't even know where to go. Wait, he said the box holds the way. Here, of course, Grandpa left a clue. You see, the way is carved here. Maybe if I follow all those trails, I can find the destination. But how? Most importantly, which direction I start going? And of course, this compass will help me. It's purposely not pointing north, it's pointing where I have to go. And money to hire for me a guide. I still don't see why I need the statue. Maybe the answer will come to me later. Two days later. I could find the book. When I came to the hut of my grandpa, somebody has been there already. The house was messed fully. All cupboards were opened and almost everything was destroyed. Yet knowing that my grandpa loved hidden places, with the clue of a secret cellar, I found this book easily. Imagine so much work of his whole life. And as he said, the first two chapters were written in Russian. And there are empty places there, as if something was missed, and there are numbers there. And I had an eureka moment. He couldn't add any sketches or different lectures from scientists or newspaper clippings. How? It would be impossible to fit in this book. And then I remembered that he left me a monk. He was never religious, and that means it's another container. I opened it, I found a flash drive at the very bottom. Because I could open it, I saw additional information in its files. Many things in there were performances of leaders of very big and important organizations. It's, for example, Minister of Defense of Canada or ex-president of Russia. All of them discussed aliens, so maybe Grandpa was right. Maybe all this is true, but it's hard for me to believe. Now, it seems too fantastic-like, and I began reading this book, and from the first chapter I understood there is something in it. Yes, let it be imagined. Perhaps it's a fantasy of an old man who devoted his whole life to studying ancient texts. One day his troops during war actions went on a trace of Anunnaki, and he found very strange but important documents. It said there that Hitler sent soldiers on the orbit station. It was 1943. Can you imagine? There were no spaceships back there, so how could they land on the moon? The answer I found in this book. Amazingly, there are many puzzles there. And every time we open and read it, many of these puzzles will be solved. Yet there are those which we need to uncover first. So, if you're ready, I suggest we begin to read this book. It's amazing. The pages smell of history. Flipping the pages, I feel like I'm studying the whole world. But because this tale is not for children, it's for us adults, I think we need to have courage to read it till the end. This story began in ancient time, long forgotten. The planet Earth was in peace and tranquility. There were blooming gardens and singing birds everywhere. People lived in harmony with nature and honored their ancestors. They knew all too well that cold and almighty cosmos surrounding our home is inhabited by hundreds and maybe even thousands of worlds. They all lived in harmony and balance. The kingdom, consisting of 27 lands, is called Three-Ninths Kingdom because three stars, star sisters, the Sun, the Pleiad, and Orion, each have 9 beautiful planets, where souls study their lessons and gain wisdom, learning, feelings, experience, and knowledge. Citizens of our planet had a capital, Asgard, which were located millions of light years from Midgard, in the very heart of Three-Ninths Kingdom, of Pleiadian constellation. In the Bible, it's called Kima. People easily traveled between planets, covering distances unimaginable to modern men in less than a second. It's because the level of intellectual and spiritual advancement of our ancestors was higher than today. Today, the most simple things done by our forefathers we would call magic. They were able to manipulate space and time, overcome gravitation, control light and sound. Their brain was active in full capacity, allowing to feel and be aware of every dot in the universe. People there used to live as long as they wished. They would seem as gods to modern men because they were almost immortal. There were no diseases caused by artificially created pathogens, viruses, bacteria, fungus, and parasites. Souls of our ancestors used to go through rich experience in one life over 1,000 years, but not 1,000 lives for the sake of one experience. There was no need to explain about a sacred duty to achieve wisdom, learn to love, to do good deeds, to reach for enlightenment and true knowledge. Through achieving perfection, forefather could use the power of thought and his will and create thousands of worlds and hundreds of planets out of stable ether field with the use of torsion power. This happened with our Earth when one of the citizens of the universe created our world and similar ones in the Three-Ninths Kingdom. He populates these planets with souls incarnated in bodies of different animals. To every one of them he gave the most invaluable present, intelligence. So a man, a fish, a bird, a snake, a dragon, an octopus, a mantis, a cat, a monkey, and others got the right to be the king of their own world. Any animal on our planet that does not have an intellect somehow represents a cornerstone in its own civilization. The idea of the Creator was that intelligence would allow those creatures not to stray from true path and to follow the will and wisdom to develop themselves and self-awareness in the multifaceted world. Although not everybody expressed the desire to create and grow spiritually, some civilizations chose parasitism as a way of life. They robbed and destroyed their planets and made a weapon of war from technology and knowledge, all for the sake of science and galactic trade. So reptiloids, race of snakes, Dagons, race of fish, and Olymps, race of birds, became the most dangerous predators in the universe. Artificially created and genetically modified alien unit from Zeta is serving them. In our world, they are called Grays.
Пульт слежения, наша святая святых. Это близнецы Блюб и Боб. Тут отмечено, где находится каждый инопланетянин на Земле. За некоторыми мы присматриваем. На этих экранах сплошь пришельцы. По виду не отличишь от человека, а по сути узнаешь.
С ума сойти.
Что, голова кругом?
Наоборот, теперь все сходится. В 3 классе друзья считали меня психом, а я знал, что училка свалилась откуда-нибудь с Венеры.
Мисс Эдельсон, вообще она с Юпитера, с одного из спутников.
Дети, сидите смирно и слушайте меня. Если мне еще раз придется повторять.
Do you remember in 2016, the Minister of Defense of Canada publicly announced that after around 10 years, our planet will be invaded by aliens?
Мне достоверно известно, что разумные существа из звездной системы Дзета-сетки уже живут на Земле среди людей, и по меньшей мере 2 из них работают на правительство США.
Practically all leaders of major countries were speaking about it, including Russia and USA. Did the little green people visit our planet? So, I tell you this for the first and the last time. Together with a briefcase with nuclear codes, a president of the country is giving a special folder. On top, it's written, Top Secret. And it's fully devoted to aliens that visit our planet. At the same time, a report is presented, fully classified, from Special Service, who controls the aliens staying on the territory of our country. So those 2 folders are handed over together with nuclear briefcase. After leaving the office, these folders are passed over to the next president. I remember very well when my grandfather hinted me that one day our world would change. But now, as I read this book, it seems as if we were long ago invaded. From Wikipedia. British publisher and writer, conspirologist David Icke says that reptiloids are living in underground bases on Earth and practically rule the world by forcing political leaders of many countries to serve their will, directly or not. According to Icke, they came to Earth from the star Tuban, Alpha Draco constellation. They supposedly live on Earth thousands of years, staying here since ancient Sumerian civilization. In Icke's opinion, this point of view confirms some characters of Sumerian mythology, Nagi from ancient Indian mythology, dragons from Chinese mythology, and snake-like creatures from legends of Maya. Another French ufologist, Anton Parks, calls reptiloids Anunnaki and suggests that Sumerian civilization was built with their help. Zahari Sitchin, translator of Sumerian texts, states that his research matches many biblical texts, and that biblical texts are a rearrangement of Sumerian description of their history. Nibiru, planet associated with Marduk in cosmology of Babylon, is the main element of Sitchin's theory. He states that it's the 10th planet with a very strange elliptic orbit, passing through solar system every 3,600 years. According to Sumerian cosmology, Nibiru used to be the 12th object of the solar system. Together in combination of 10 planets, plus the Sun and the Moon, its catastrophic crash into Tiamat, the planet that was between Mars and Jupiter, formed the planet Earth, the Moon, and the belt of asteroids and comets. It was home of mighty human-like race of Anunnaki from Sumerian mythology, which survived as stated by Sitchin and later visited the Earth. Here on Earth, by the means of genetic engineering, they created our type, people, by crossbreeding their genes with the genes of Homo erectus. They needed people as alternative workforce in building underground bases and mining gold. When Anunnaki got tired from their hard work on planet Earth and started a riot against their gods, refusing to do their work, the supreme gods took pity on them and ordered to create for them servants. Having destroyed their planet, they started to hunt for resources of other planets, draining and killing nature. They placed people into a dungeon of subconscious, forcing them to get ill, to die, and to incarnate again and again in the same time situations. Our ancestors possessed cosmic technology, plasmic skin, new magic, and could fight off the aliens. It's all true, although climatic and bacterial weapons were used against them. This led to losing most of their abilities. People began to die, and during reloading, their mental body was cleaned up. Only those memories remained that suited reptiloids. This way, us, who would live 1,000 years and have high intelligence, became a weak man. This story is about how parasites occupied our planet 7,500 years ago. Today, they are preparing for war, and it's high time for people to wake up and fight them off. Weapons of reptiloids are far more sly and destructive than you think. They're playing with us, opposing one nation to another, to make them fight with each other, destroying the world with our own hands. But we're so blind, we don't even notice it.
Ну а какова же ваша цель?
А ее нет. Нас не преследует призрак смертности, как вас. Мы бессмертные.
Я не понимаю. Свадьба – это прогулочка. Почему бы просто не убить меня и Дею?
История пойдет по намеченному нами курсу. Саптан станет следующим правителем. Девятый луч будет оставаться в руках тупых скотов, которыми можно управлять. А трагедия гибели Деи навсегда закрепит его власть. Мы играли в эти игры, когда этой планеты еще не было. И будем играть после того, как погибнет ваша. Но не мы доводим планеты до гибели, капитан. Мы управляем ими. Кормимся ими, если угодно. Но на каждой из планет каждый раз происходит одно и то же. Рост населения, раскол в обществе, повсеместные войны. А в это время планета опустошается и тихо угасает.
What a pity Grandpa couldn't tell me all about this. Although today, reading this book, I understand how important his work was. I'm sure that by reading this tale to you, I can manage to complete his research, and I will be able to give hope to our world that this tale will end good. And we again will return to that happy and prosperous world where heavenly birds will be singing again, and every one of us will be remembering his ancestors. It's very late, and perhaps it's time to sleep. I think next time we will be able to read next chapter, and it will open for us much more unknown but very important for well-being and abundance of our planet. This tale is not only about time periods and reasons of the capture of planet Earth and turning it into plantation for reptiloids, but also about the conspiracy of world's elite. Their plans for harvesting realize every 100 years. Therefore, in the next chapter, we will tell you about how the Earth became their home and how they managed to bring the population to destruction with the help of their servants. Military maps, alien technologies, apocalypse harbingers, Anunnaki, and many other mysteries of mankind will be uncovered in this tale. Where do billions tons of oil disappear? Where do people disappear? Hundreds of thousands of them every year. Why so many limitations for researching the depths of sea and ocean, of cosmos, Arctic, Antarctica? In the beginning of a century, apostles must start revolutions, then epidemics, and several massive wars. All this is just so in the 50th decade of a century to hand over planet's resources, reload the matrix, and restart it again for the next 100 years. It's no longer a secret that we are not the only life in cosmos, but not many know that often different types of galactic civilization share one planet and make a contract where they agree how to use it. If you believe Sumerian texts, the battle for the Earth was very bloody. First, the military unit of Anunnaki was dispatched in Ural Mountains, but local civilization of white magicians fought them off greatly. The war with northern lands went on. Marduk, son of Enki, grandson of Anu, was leading all military operations. Enlil was scanning the earth in search for artifacts needed for Enki and natural resources. Anu opened Pandora box on the planet that contained 4 deadly pathogens: viruses, bacteria, fungus, and parasites. People began to weaken, get sick, and lose part of their magic abilities. But the most terrible thing is they began to die too early. Every time Prince of Darkness came to Earth to put a comma in his cunning plan. All events and the plan are described in the revelation of Ioan Bogoslow and also in the legends and myths of ancient world. All details are thoroughly hidden from people and passed from mouth to mouth in secret lunches of the occult shady organizations all around the world.